The New York Yankees continue to give their fans plenty of reasons to be excited early in the season. And one of the biggest talking points right now is the incredible performance of their young pitching talent. Every time he steps onto the mound, he looks more confident, more composed, and more dominant. In his latest outing, he delivered another outstanding performance, pitching deep into the game, allowing very few hits, issuing no walks, and striking out multiple batters with an arsenal of pitches that hitters simply cannot seem to figure out. What stands out the most is not just the strikeouts, but the control. He attacks the strike zone with confidence, and every pitch seems to have movement while still landing exactly where he wants it. That combination makes him extremely difficult to face, and it is quickly turning him into one of the most talked about pitchers on the roster. What makes his performances even more impressive is how efficient he is on the mound. He does not waste pitches, he does not fall behind in counts very often, and he forces hitters into uncomfortable situations almost immediately. When a pitcher can combine movement, velocity, and control, it usually leads to dominance, and that is exactly what we are seeing right now. Even though this is still early in his career and the sample size is relatively small, the numbers he is putting up are historic in some ways. There are very few pitchers in franchise history who have managed to combine 0 runs allowed, 0 walks, and a high number of strikeouts over multiple games, and the fact that he is already being mentioned in those conversations tells you just how special his start has been. Another statistic that really stands out is the number of strikeouts he has recorded in his first group of starts. Reaching such a high strikeout total this early places him among some very notable names in the history of the organization. When you start appearing on lists with pitchers who are known for their dominance and ability to miss bats, it immediately raises expectations. But beyond the numbers, what really impresses people watching him is his attitude on the mound. He does not look nervous, he does not look overwhelmed, and he never seems rattled by pressure situations. Even when facing strong lineups, he maintains the same calm body language and aggressive approach, which is something that usually takes pitchers many years to develop. The Yankees pitching staff as a whole has also been one of the biggest strengths of the team so far this season. Game after game, they have managed to keep opposing offenses under control, limiting runs, and giving the team a chance to win every night. When the starting rotation performs at this level, it takes a lot of pressure off the offense because the team does not need to score a huge number of runs to win games. Strong pitching can carry a team through long stretches of the season, and right now it feels like the Yankees are winning games because of their arms just as much as their bats. That balance is something every championship contender needs if they want to remain competitive throughout the entire season. One interesting thing to consider is that some of the team's top pitchers are still not fully in the rotation yet, which makes the current performances even more impressive. When those established pitchers return and the rotation becomes even deeper, it could give the Yankees one of the strongest pitching staffs in the league. Imagine a playoff series where multiple starters are capable of dominating a lineup and going deep into games. That is the kind of situation that gives a team a real advantage in the postseason, and it is why so many people are already talking about the potential of this pitching staff if everyone stays healthy and continues performing at this level. Of course, pitching was not the only reason the team won their recent games. The offense also came through in important moments, especially with timely hits that extended the lead and made things less stressful in the later innings. One key hit in particular added an insurance run that ended up being extremely important because the opposing team tried to rally late in the game. Without that extra run, the final inning could have been much more tense for both the players and the fans watching. Situations like that show how important it is to score runs even when you're already leading, because baseball games can change very quickly, especially in the final innings. The bullpen also had an interesting performance to close out the game. The closer did not have his absolute best stuff, but what stood out was his confidence and his willingness to challenge hitters directly instead of trying to be too perfect. Sometimes, being a successful closer is not just about having the best pitches, but about having the mentality to attack hitters even when the pressure is at its highest. Great closers often have short memories and a fearless attitude, and that is exactly what we saw. Even when the at-bat became long and intense, he stayed aggressive and continued throwing fastballs, basically daring the hitter to make contact. That kind of mentality can be risky, but it also shows confidence and belief in your ability. There has also been a lot of discussion among fans about expectations for closers, especially when comparing modern players to legendary ones from the past. The reality is that some players were so dominant that they created unrealistic expectations for everyone who came after them. Not every closer is going to be perfect, and even the best relievers in the game go through difficult stretches during a season. Relief pitching is one of the most unpredictable roles in baseball, and performance can vary from month to month or even week to week. What matters most is whether the closer can finish games and help the team win, and so far, the bullpen has managed to do that when it matters most. As the season continues, another storyline that is starting to gain attention is the upcoming series and how the Yankees match up against different types of pitchers, especially young power arms. Every season, there are always a few young pitchers across the league who suddenly emerge and become very difficult to face, and the Yankees lineup will have to prove that they can adjust quickly in those situations. Facing a strong young pitcher often means dealing with high velocity, sharp breaking balls, and unpredictable pitch selection, which can make even the best hitters look uncomfortable at the plate. That is why these matchups early in the season can be very interesting, because they test the discipline and patience of the lineup. The Yankees' offense has shown flashes of being very dangerous, but consistency will be the key as the season moves forward. There have been moments where the team scores multiple runs and looks unstoppable, and then there are stretches where they struggle to bring runners home. That is normal in baseball because the season is very long, and even the best teams go through offensive slumps. What matters most is whether the team can still find ways to win games when the offense is not at its best. That is where strong pitching and solid defense become even more important, because those elements can carry a team through difficult stretches when runs are hard to come by. Another important factor in recent games has been situational hitting. Getting a big hit with runners in scoring position can completely change the momentum of a game. A single swing can turn a close game into a comfortable lead, and that changes how both teams approach the rest of the game. Pitchers can attack the strike zone more aggressively when they have a lead, and hitters on the opposing team start to feel pressure to score quickly, which often leads to mistakes. Baseball is a sport where momentum and confidence play a huge role, and timely hitting is one of the fastest ways to shift momentum in your favor. The bullpen will also continue to play a major role throughout the season, especially in close games. Modern baseball relies heavily on relief pitchers, and managers often use multiple relievers in the final innings to secure a win. That means the bullpen needs to be consistent and mentally strong, because they often enter games in high-pressure situations with very little room for error. One bad pitch can change the outcome of a game, so the ability to stay calm and execute pitches under pressure is extremely important for relievers. The teams that usually go far in the postseason are the ones that have reliable bullpens that can protect leads late in games. There's also a lot of discussion about how teams are built now compared to the past. In previous eras, teams relied heavily on starting pitchers to complete games, but now the game is much more specialized. Starters are expected to go 5 or 6 innings, and then the bullpen takes over. Because of that, having depth in the pitching staff is more important than ever. A team might use 8 or 9 different pitchers in a single series, and every one of them needs to be prepared to contribute. The Yankees seem to be building a roster that reflects this modern approach, focusing on depth, power arms, and flexibility in the pitching staff. As the schedule continues, the team will face stronger opponents and more challenging series, which will give a better idea of how good they really are. Early season success is exciting, but the true test always comes when teams face adversity, whether it is injuries, losing streaks, or tough road trips. Great teams are defined by how they respond to difficult moments, not just how they perform when everything is going well. Maintaining focus and energy throughout the long season is one of the biggest challenges in baseball, because the season is a marathon, not a sprint. Another interesting aspect to watch will be how the young players continue to develop as the season progresses. Young players often improve a lot during the season as they gain more experience and adjust to the level of competition. Pitchers learn how hitters are trying to attack them, and hitters learn how pitchers are trying to get them out. This constant adjustment is part of what makes baseball so interesting, because it is not just a physical game, but also a mental game. The smartest players are often the ones who make the quickest adjustments and learn from every game they play. The atmosphere around the team also seems very positive right now, and that can make a big difference over a long season. When a team is winning and players believe in each other, confidence grows and performances often improve. Confidence can affect everything from pitching aggressively in the strike zone to swinging more freely at the plate. Baseball is a sport where confidence and rhythm are extremely important, and when a team finds both at the same time, they can become very difficult to beat. If the Yankees can maintain strong pitching, timely hitting, and confidence in close games, they will continue to be one of the most competitive teams as the season moves forward. One thing that is becoming very clear is that this team is starting to build an identity around pitching, discipline, and patience during games. They're not trying to win every game with huge offensive explosions, but instead they're playing controlled baseball, waiting for the right moments, and relying on their pitchers to keep the game under control. This style can be extremely effective over a long season because it reduces pressure on the offense and keeps the team competitive in almost every game they play. When you know that your pitching staff can hold the opponent to just a few runs, the entire approach of the team changes, and players start focusing more on small advantages, good at-bats, and smart base running. Another important detail is how confident the young players look when they're on the field. Confidence in baseball is everything, especially for pitchers and hitters in pressure situations. When a young pitcher attacks the strike zone without fear, it puts pressure on hitters immediately. When young hitters step into the box believing they can make an impact, they become much more dangerous. Confidence usually comes from preparation and from early success, and right now the team is seeing both things happen at the same time. If these young players continue to develop and maintain this mentality, the team will become even stronger as the season progresses. As the games continue and the schedule becomes more demanding, consistency will be the biggest challenge. Every team can play well for a short stretch, but the teams that compete at the highest level are the ones that can maintain a high level of performance for months, not just weeks. That means the pitching staff must stay healthy, the offense must continue to produce in key moments, and the bullpen must remain reliable in close games. If they can keep this balance and continue playing smart, disciplined baseball, they will put themselves in a very strong position as the season moves deeper and the competition becomes even more intense. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Whispers are beginning to swirl around one of baseball's most recognizable faces, and they carry a tone that few in New York are ready to accept. Could the era of Aaron Judge and pinstripes be approaching an unexpected turning point? According to growing speculation behind the scenes, a powerful rival franchise has quietly placed a staggering offer on the table, one designed to test not only loyalty, but legacy. Sources close to league circles suggest the proposal is not just financially aggressive, it is symbolic. The unnamed club is reportedly prepared to position Judge as the undisputed centerpiece of its long-term vision, offering both record-level compensation and a degree of influence rarely extended to a single player. For an athlete who has already cemented himself as a cornerstone in New York, the idea of starting a new chapter elsewhere may seem unlikely, yet not entirely impossible. Within the Yankees organization, there is a sense of cautious tension. While no public acknowledgement has been made, insiders hint that the front office is well aware of the situation and monitoring closely. Judge's leadership, both in the clubhouse and on the field, has made him more than just a star. He is an identity. Losing such a figure would ripple far beyond statistics. Still, the allure of a fresh challenge, combined with an unprecedented financial package, can shift even the most stable narratives. Around the league, executives are watching carefully, knowing that if this rumor gains traction, it could trigger a chain reaction of moves and negotiations. For now, it remains speculation, an unfolding story fueled by ambition, strategy, and the ever-present unpredictability of professional sports. But if there is truth behind the noise, the question is no longer unthinkable. What if Aaron Judge's future is not in New York after all? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.